Hey everyone, Kavemi here with another Reddit story. Today's is an incredibly difficult and inspiring one about a woman who had to make an impossible choice to survive. After her husband tried to kill her, she faked her own death and disappeared, only to be found 3 years later. It's a raw story about abuse, survival, and the fight to reclaim a life and family. Settle in, enjoy the Minecraft in the background, and let's get into it. The title is, My Husband Tried to Kill Me, so I faked my death and disappeared for my kids. My name is Sarah, and I'm standing in the parking lot of a market in a town 300 miles from my old home, staring at a man I never thought I'd see again. My hands are shaking so violently I drop my keys. They hit the pavement with a metallic clink that sounds impossibly loud in the quiet air. Everything's too loud right now. The frantic thrum of my heartbeat, the distant traffic, and his voice saying my name. Sarah, please just hear me out. I should run. Every instinct is screaming flight, but my legs won't move. I'm frozen looking at Michael, my husband, or ex-husband, or whatever label he holds now. All I can think about is the last time I saw him. The night he pushed me toward the edge of our 8th floor balcony and told me it would all be over soon. That was 3 years ago. How did you find me? My voice is a ragged whisper, thin and fragile. He takes a step closer. He looks aged. There are fine lines etched around his eyes that weren't there before, and his hair is noticeably greyer at the temples. It took a long time, but I had to find you. The kids don't... I hold up my hand, stopping him mid-sentence. Don't you dare talk about them. They miss you, he says, his voice taking on a wounded quality. Lily asks about you every single day. Sam drew a picture of you last week and put it on his wall. The mention of their names is like a knife twisting deep in my chest. Lily is 8 now, Sam is 6. I left when Lily was 5 and Sam was 3. I've missed birthdays, first days of school, lost teeth, and countless bedtime stories. I left because I wanted to be alive for them someday, even if I couldn't be physically present right then. I need to tell you how this started, because I know what you're thinking. You're thinking no mother fakes her death and abandons her children unless something truly, utterly devastating happened. You're right. Michael and I met in college. He was magnetic, charming, and successful. The kind of man who commanded a room. We married 2 years after graduation, and for a while things were wonderful. He took me to expensive restaurants, constantly surprised me with flowers, and told me I was the most beautiful woman in the world. Everyone thought we were the perfect couple. Then Lily was born, and everything shifted. Michael became intensely controlling. He needed to know my location constantly, who I was communicating with, and what I was purchasing. He opened a joint bank account and insisted I close my personal one, claiming married people should share everything. Initially, I found it endearing. I made excuses, telling myself he was just being protective or stressed from new parenthood. My friend Laura was the first to notice the shift. Sarah, does Michael always check your phone like that? She asked, after he picked up my cell and scrolled through my messages. He's just making sure I'm not missing anything important, I insisted. Laura looked at me with a long, concerned gaze. That's not normal, Sarah. But I was exhausted, overwhelmed, and convinced Laura was overreacting. By the time Sam was born, Michael had methodically isolated me from most of my friends, especially Laura. He convinced me she was toxic, that she was trying to cause problems in our marriage, and that true friends wouldn't criticise him. Eventually, I stopped answering her calls and texts. My family lived far away, and Michael always had reasons why we couldn't visit. Too expensive, too much going on with work, the children were too young to travel. When my mother suggested visiting us, Michael claimed our apartment was too small, and that hosting guests would stress me out too much, with 2 small children. Looking back, I can see how methodically he cut me off from anyone who might have offered help or perspective. But when you're living it, when it happens slowly over years, you don't recognise the pattern. The physical abuse started small. A grip that was too rough, a hard push during an argument. Then it escalated. A slap, a shove that sent me into a wall. He always apologised, always promised it would never happen again, and always blamed the incident on stress or something I had done wrong. The first time he hit me, truly struck me, was on Sam's first birthday. After the guests left and the kids were in bed, he cornered me in the kitchen. You embarrassed me, he hissed. You made me look like I forgot my own son's birthday. I'm sorry, I whispered. I should have reminded you this morning. You should have cancelled it, he snarled. Then he hit me open-handed across the face, hard enough that my head snapped back and I tasted my own blood. I was in complete shock. He'd never struck me before. Look what you made me do, he said before leaving the room. I should have left that night. But where would I go with 2 young children? How would I support them? Michael controlled all our finances. He had convinced me to stay home, arguing it was better for the children. So I stayed, and the abuse worsened. He began telling others I was unstable and having trouble adjusting to motherhood. He'd bring it up at social gatherings, always sounding deeply concerned. Sarah's been struggling, he'd say. I'm trying to be supportive, but it's hard. He ensured everyone saw him as the devoted husband coping with his troubled wife. He pushed me down the stairs once, telling the ER staff I tripped with the laundry basket. They believed him. I started planning my secret escape. I opened a new bank account and slowly transferred small amounts of money. I contacted a domestic violence hotline who advised me to pack a go bag of essentials, which I hid in the back of my closet. The night everything shattered was 3 years ago. Michael came home late, smelling of liquor. He was agitated as he grabbed my arm and dragged me toward the balcony. I know what you've been doing, he said. The bank account, the bag in the back of your closet. Did you really think I wouldn't find out? He slammed me against the railing. You're not leaving me, he growled. You're not taking my kids. That's when the truth crystallized. He was going to push me over, framing it as a suicide. He had already laid the emotional groundwork, telling people I was depressed and unstable. Michael, please, I pleaded. Think about Lily and Sam. I am thinking about them, he said, his eyes cold. They deserve better than a mother who abandoned them. He pushed me harder. I felt myself begin to tip backward. I saw the stars above and thought, this might be the last thing I ever see. Then Lily called out from inside, Mommy! Michael froze. His grip momentarily loosened. I shoved him as hard as I could and scrambled inside. I grabbed Lily, told her to get Sam, and locked us in their bedroom. I called 911, but by the time the police arrived, Michael had completely composed himself. He told them I was having a mental health crisis, and that he had been trying to stop me from hurting myself. Because he was so convincing, they believed him. They looked at me with pity and suggested I get help. They didn't arrest him. They didn't even take a report. The officer pulled me aside before leaving. Mum, if you're having thoughts of hurting yourself, there are resources available. I sounded hysterical. Michael sounded calm and concerned. I stayed up all night with the children on the couch, knowing the police would not help. I knew if I tried to leave through legal channels, Michael would use his resources to ensure he got custody, and I would be dead within a year. I was certain of it. I had to disappear. I reached out to Rachel, my college friend. She had escaped her ex by faking a hiking accident and starting over in a new state. I need help, I wrote her on an encrypted app. It's bad. She called me from a burner phone the next day. I can help you, she said. But you need to understand the cost. You'll have to leave Lily and Sam behind. You won't be able to contact them. It might be years before you can come back into their lives. I know, I said, weeping. But if I stay, I'm dead and then they'll have no mother at all. We spent 2 weeks meticulously planning my exit. Rachel was careful and methodical. The most crucial part, she emphasised, was making it believable. You need to leave evidence that points to one conclusion: suicide. You can't leave room for doubt. She helped me figure out the logistics, where to go, how to travel, and how to create a new identity. The hardest part was recording the video messages. I recorded them on Rachel's phone, one for Lily, one for Sam, and one for both of them. In the videos, I told them how much I loved them and how sorry I was. Mommy loves you so much, I said, tears streaming down my face. And one day, I hope you'll understand why I had to do this. Recording those videos almost destroyed me. I almost stayed, but then I thought about that night on the balcony, and I knew I had to go through with it. I told Michael I needed a weekend trip, alone to clear my head. He agreed immediately. Take as long as you need, he said. I'll handle the kids. I kissed Lily and Sam goodbye that Friday morning. I held them tighter and longer than usual. Where are you going, Mummy? Lily asked. Just a little trip, I lied. I'll see you soon. I drove to Redwood State Park, 2 hours north. It was a place I'd been before, known for its hiking trails, steep cliffs, and danger. I parked my car near a trailhead, left my phone on the front seat, draped my jacket over the passenger seat, and left my wallet in the glove compartment. I left the note, vague but suggestive, talking about being tired and not seeing another way. I made sure my handwriting looked shaky. Then, I hiked to Overlook Cliff, took off my wedding ring, and left it on a rock near the edge along with a scarf Michael had given me. Then I hiked down the back of the mountain using an unmarked trail. Rachel was waiting in a parking area 2 miles away. When I got to her car, I collapsed, sobbing uncontrollably. She handed me water and a change of clothes. "We need to move," she said gently. "Right now, we need to get you somewhere safe." She drove me to a town called Oakwood, Montana. Population 3,000, the kind of place where people minded their own business. She had arranged a room for rent in the house of an elderly woman named Brenda, and a job at a diner called the Cozy Corner. "This is Claire Andrews," Rachel told Brenda, introducing me with my new name. "She's looking for a fresh start." Brenda, who must have been in her 70s, looked at me with deep, knowing eyes. "Aren't we all, dear?" The first few weeks were the hardest. I worked double shifts at the diner to keep myself busy, keep myself from thinking, keep myself from checking the news. But eventually I couldn't resist. I went to the library and used a computer. "Missing woman presumed dead in Redwood Canyon," the headline read. The article said my car, the note, and my personal belongings had been found. Search and rescue had been looking for my body for 5 days. The river's current was strong. They thought I might have been swept miles downstream. Michael had given an interview. There was a photo of him holding Lily and Sam. He looked utterly devastated. "Sarah was struggling," he said in the article. "I tried to get her help. I wish I'd done more." He'd set up a GoFundMe for mental health awareness. It had already raised $30,000. I walked back to Brenda's house in a daze, crying until I couldn't breathe. The months that followed were surreal. I was alive, but I wasn't living. I went through the motions. Brenda was quiet but kind, leaving cups of tea outside my door. Rachel called every few weeks from different burner phones. "It gets easier," she'd say. "I promise." 6 months after I disappeared, Rachel called with news. "I found a way to get the videos to the kids," she said. "A contact who can get them to Lily's school counsellor anonymously. The counsellor could give them to Lily and Sam in a safe setting." I thought about it for days, but I decided to wait. They were too young. "Hold on to them," I told Rachel. "We'll know when the time is right." A year passed, then 2. I built something resembling a life in Oakwood. I was promoted to manager at the diner, made friends, and started volunteering at the local animal shelter. Brenda and I became close. "Everyone's running from something, Claire," she said one evening. "The trick is figuring out what you're running toward." I sent money when I could, using the untraceable fund Rachel had set up. On their birthdays, I wrote Lily and Sam letters I could never send, keeping them in a box under my bed. I thought about them every single day. I checked the news occasionally. Michael had become a local public figure. He was giving speeches about mental health, doing interviews, and he had even written an op-ed for a major newspaper. Every time I saw his face, I felt sick. He was profiting from what he had done to me. 3 years after I vanished, I was working the lunch shift when a man walked in. He sat at the counter and ordered coffee. He watched me, and when I brought his check, he said, "You look familiar." "I just have one of those faces," I said, my heart pounding. He left a generous tip and a business card. Jameson Reed, private investigator. That night, I called Rachel from a payphone. "Someone knows," I said. A private investigator came into the diner. "It's Michael," Rachel said. "He hired a team of investigators 6 months ago." "What do I do?" I asked. "You could run again, or we could consider confronting this. It's been 3 years. You have evidence. You have those videos. Maybe it's time to come back." I wasn't ready. I told Rachel I needed time to think. I went back to work the next day. 2 days later, the investigator came back. This time, he brought a photo. "Do you know this woman?" he asked, showing me a picture of myself from 5 years ago. "No," I said. "I don't think so." "Her name was Sarah Mitchell," he said, watching my reaction. "She died 3 years ago. Or at least that's what everyone thinks. I think you're Sarah Mitchell." My heart was racing. Here's the thing, Miss Andrews. Or should I say Ms. Mitchell? Your husband hired me to find you. He says he just wants closure. I'm not who you think I am, I said firmly. Fair enough, but he's not going to give up. Might be easier for everyone if you just talk to him. After he left, I started packing. But where would I go? How many times could I run? I was sitting on my bed when Brenda knocked. I told her everything. I had a husband like that once, she said. Here's what I think. You can keep running or you can stand your ground. You're stronger now. You have people who believe you. The kids will grow up without their mother if you keep hiding. Is that what you want? That night I made a decision. I wasn't going to run. The next morning I went to the market like I always did, and that's when I saw him, Michael, standing in the parking lot next to my car. How did you find me? I ask. The investigator tracked you down, he says. What do you want? I want you to come home. I've changed, Sarah. The kids need their mother. You tried to take my life, Michael. You were going to push me off a balcony. I was in a bad place, he says. I'm not that person anymore. I don't believe you. His expression shifts. Then believe this, he says, pulling out his phone. He's recording our conversation. If you don't come back, I'm going to tell everyone the truth. That you're alive, that you faked your death, that you abandoned your children. You'll be arrested for fraud, for filing a false police report, for child abandonment. You'll go to prison, Sarah, and I'll have full custody of Lily and Sam. You have 24 hours, he says. Meet me tomorrow at noon at the coffee shop on Main Street. And Sarah, don't even think about running. I have people watching you now. I drove to a motel and called Rachel. He found me, I said. He's threatening to expose me if I don't. What are you going to do? Rachel asked. I can't go back to him, but I can't lose Lily and Sam forever either. What if we expose him first? He's been playing the grieving husband for 3 years. He's got a foundation in your name. You have evidence. The videos, my testimony, those medical records. Why would a grieving husband who just discovered his wife is alive try to blackmail her instead of celebrating? I spent the rest of the night thinking. I made my decision. I was not meeting Michael. I was going to tell my story. I called a journalist, Jessica Mendez. I'm Sarah Mitchell, I said. I'm alive and I have a story you're going to want to hear. We met at a diner. I brought everything. The videos for the kids, documentation from the domestic violence hotline, and the recording Michael took of us in the parking lot. I also showed her the video I secretly recorded on my own phone in my pocket. He recorded himself threatening you, Jessica said. He probably thought he could edit it, but you have the full unedited truth. Jessica spent 2 days investigating. She interviewed Rachel, the domestic violence hotline, the ER where I was treated. She even found other women Michael had hurt. Lisa, a college girlfriend he pushed, and Kayla, a co-worker he harassed. The patterns were clear. Michael was a predator who manipulated people and systems. The story ran on a Thursday evening prime time. The headline read, Missing Mother Reveals She Faked Death to Escape Abuse from Husband Who Now Runs Foundation in Her Name. Jessica did a full segment, playing the recording where Michael threatened me. His denial statement fell flat. His foundation was immediately put under investigation. I was asked to do interviews where I told my story and showed the videos for Lily and Sam. I didn't want to leave them, I said, my voice breaking, but I wanted to be alive for them someday. I turned myself in 5 days after the story broke. I was arrested and charged with insurance fraud and filing a false report. My lawyer, Patricia Chen, argued that I was in fear for my life and had no other options. The judge set bail at $50,000, which Rachel posted. Michael was arrested 2 weeks later. The investigation into his foundation revealed financial irregularities, and he was convicted of extortion and blackmail. He received 3 years in prison and had to pay back the stolen money. My criminal case was resolved first. Patricia negotiated a plea deal. I pleaded guilty to filing a false report and insurance fraud, but due to the documented abuse, I received probation and community service. No jail time. The judge, a woman in her 60s, looked at me with understanding. I recognise that those channels often fail. I hope that by telling your story, you'll help other women find better paths forward. The custody case followed. The court terminated Michael's parental rights based on the pattern of abuse. 6 months after my story broke, Lily and Sam were coming home to me. I moved to a small house in a suburb of Denver. Brenda moved with me too. Rachel was there when they arrived. Lily is 8 and Sam is 6. They looked scared. "Are you really our mum?" Lily asked. "Yes, I'm really your mum." "Why did you leave?" Sam asked. "Because I wanted to keep all of us safe, and the only way I could do that was to leave for a little while. But I never stopped loving you." Lily's face crumpled. "I thought you died." "I know, sweetie, and I'm so sorry." "Can I hug you?" Lily asked. I held both of my children for the first time in 3 and 8.5 years, and my heart broke and healed all at once. The adjustment was hard. We all went to therapy. Consistency and showing up became my only focus. 2 months in, Lily exploded. "I hate you! You left us!" "You have every right to be angry," I said calmly. "Your dad said you didn't love us," she cried. "Lily, look at me. That is not true. I left because I loved you so much. I left because I wanted to survive so I could come back to you." Sam had his own struggles. He took scissors to all his new clothes. "I wanted to see if you'd leave again," he said. "Tyler, I'm not leaving. You can break everything in this house, and I still won't leave. I'm not giving up ever again." Slowly, things got better. I got a job as a counsellor at a domestic violence shelter. Michael was released from prison after 2 years. He sent a short letter saying he was sorry and signing away any remaining parental rights. I showed the letter to Patricia, who confirmed he had signed away all his rights. "How do you feel about it?" she asked. "I don't know," I said honestly. Part of me doesn't believe him, but part of me hopes he means it. Not for him, but for all the other people he might hurt. 2 years after Lily and Sam came back, Lily came to me with a school project. She had to write about a personal hero. "Can I write about you?" she asked. "Why? Because you're the bravest person I know. You saved yourself and then you saved us." She wrote, "My mum is my hero because she taught me that sometimes being brave means doing things that are scary. Sometimes it means leaving so you can come back stronger." The essay won an award. I cried. We're a normal family now. Lily is applying to colleges and Sam is into cooking. They have a relationship with their father, sort of, through occasional letters. They get to decide their own relationships with him. I've never written to Michael. I think about that woman I used to be, the one who stood on that balcony, certain she was going to die. I look at Lily, at Sam, at the life we've built. Was it worth it? All the pain and sacrifice and years of separation? Yes, 1,000 times. Yes, because here's the truth. I survived. We survived. But more than that, we're thriving. That wraps up today's story. Thanks for hanging out with me while we went through all that family drama. Let me know in the comments what you thought about it. And stick around for more stories with the usual Minecraft vibes in the background. I'll see you in the next one.